Hi Plant Fam, how are y'all doing today? I have about 75 houseplants and 0 orchids. I have actively avoided them, I guess, and then all of a sudden I woke up one day and thought, I need an orchid. Luckily I host a tropical talk show, so we're gonna go on an adventure to visit some friends. First, we're gonna go see my friend Danni from Danni's Orchid Journey here on YouTube and see her beautiful orchid collection in her amazing greenhouse. And then we're gonna go all the way across the country to see my friend Chris from Rainbow Orchids, and he is gonna show us some of the most insane orchids in his collection and some of the most beautiful plant shots. So it's an orchid adventure.
Hi everyone, I'm Danni from Danni's Orchid Journey, and I'm going to show you around my greenhouse, do a quick little tour, and show you what I have in bloom and some of my favorite blooms in the greenhouse. So let's go. So welcome to my greenhouse, you guys. Come on in and take a look at what's going on. Here is my Phalaenopsis corner. It's where I have a lot of my no ID phals from just like local grocery stores. Most of these are not fragrant, which is pretty normal to find at grocery stores. This one is fragrant though. It smells like cinnamon. And you can see here, this Phalaenopsis it's called a fat lip Phalaenopsis. And you see the difference in the lip, how this is a fat one. It's wider than a regular lip. And down here I have an Oncidium Sherry Baby that's opening up. These, they smell like chocolate. They smell fabulous. I love them. They smell so good. Check this beauty out. This is also a Phalaenopsis hybrid. And I'm just going to give you the name really quick because most people ask for the ID once they see how pretty this is. And there's no fragrance yet. It's supposed to have a fragrance, but there's no fragrance yet. But I can't get past how pretty the color is. And I really enjoy the shape of that bloom too. Next to her is one of my favorite orchids I have. It is a no ID, and no ID means that it didn't come with a name tag. But it is a Brassivola hybrid, and you can tell that by the shape of the foliage and the shape of the flower. It has a really clean and fresh, like lemon scent, but I just love it. It's adorable, and she's my favorite. This is a novelty Phalaenopsis of mine, and it smells like Fruit Loops, like the cereal. It smells fantastic. And you can see this bloom is a little bit newer, so it's a different color. I have many different types of orchids in my greenhouse. I have Phalaenopsis, I have Cattleya hybrids, Brassivola hybrids, Dendrobiums, and Vandas. And this here is a Brassivola hybrid called Yellowbird. It's been in bloom for about 2 or 3 weeks now. There is no fragrance on it, but I think it's just really pretty, and I love any bloom with yellow in it. Down here are more no ID Phalaenopsis from grocery stores that have rebloomed for me. You can, a lot of times, you know, you don't have to spend a lot of money on orchids. You can go, like I go to Kroger's, and they'll have orchids that the blooms are spent and they've marked down to $1 to $3, and I get those and rehab them sometimes, and they'll reward you with great blooms. This here in front of us is a Vanda orchid, and I like Vanda orchids. I think they're cool with the roots that hang down and grow in the air. And this one is just beginning to open, as you can see. I have one more Vanda that's in bloom, and she is so pretty. I love the color on her. And she also smells like watermelon candy. That's what's so great. I love fragrant orchids because they don't smell like a normal flower to me, like a floral shop. They a lot of times will smell sweet, especially your foul hybrids that have Bellina in them and stuff. They'll smell sweet. And this Vanda here smells like watermelon candy. And I adore her blooms. And she's a vigorous bloomer. She blooms often. She actually has this spike here, another spike forming, and another spike forming. So that was a quick little tour of what I have in bloom in my greenhouse right now. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Happy growing.
Hello everyone, my name is Chris Nitro and I'm from Rainbow Orchids. My good friend Kojo from Kojo's Tropicals asked me to talk a little bit to you about my orchids, and that's what we're gonna do. So let's just dive in right away and I'll show you what I have in bloom right now. Let's start with this guy. This is what is called a primary hybrid. I don't know if you can see that. I'll try to put it in focus a little bit. It just opened its first flower, but don't worry, I'm gonna insert a picture on the side, on the left or on the right, I'm not sure yet, of a full bloom on this. This is called Vandinopsis pulcherimen. It's a intergeneric cross of a Phalaenopsis pulcherima and a Vanda miniata. They're both mendacious orchids, but they're still considered intergeneric because they're two different species, or two different genera, sorry. Let's continue with the primary hybrids. This right here is a wonderfully fragrant Phalaenopsis zemira. Zemira in the color form Cerulean. Zemira is a, well, can you see it like this maybe? Zemira is a primary hybrid of Violacea and Bellina, which used to be for the longest time considered the same species, just from different localities. And there's still some confusion sometimes on what is the true species. There's mislabeling happening, and but this and multiple color forms, all are lovely, wonderfully fragrant. This reminds me a little of like a violet and cinnamon mixture, maybe. Very interesting, very nice colored flower. The shape could be a little better, but the color is wonderful, and it has 1, 2, 3, 4 spikes, several buds forming. This is a beautiful plant. Likes quite a bit of light and lots and lots and lots of water. Let's go with the next one I have for you. This is another Phalaenopsis. Phalaenopsis speciosa, purple. As you can see, this is the second blooming this year. The first blooming was in June, and I'm gonna put a picture of it in full bloom when all 7 spikes were laden with flowers. And the interesting thing about this is that you see the one purple petal here. If you can see the next flower that's about to open, the top 3 are all purple. So what happens is with these guys, I grow them very bright, and my grow lights generate quite a bit of heat. And whatever the light intensity and the heat intensity is at the moment at the bud formation, that determines a different coloring. You will see it on the full bloom picture very clearly that not one bloom looks like the other. They all have different markings. The purple is less or more, 1, 2, 3 petals. This is a very interesting plant. I have a couple of these in different color forms, and this is a purple form. Very nice. Also more of a highlight Phalaenopsis. Let's finish up with the Phalaenopsis. This is a very quite rare in cultivation. I'm not really sure why. I heard from friends that they find this is hard to grow. For me, it grows very easily. It grows in my little orchidarium that you can see behind me right here, which has a fogging system, a fogger system in the bottom, has grow lights and multiple fans inside. I water once a week, and the mounted plants, I spritz them a little in the morning, and that's about it. That's about all the care they get. But anyways, this is Phalaenopsis finlay. Used to be called Minus, but the correct name is finlay. It's quite rare. This is usually how they bloom, but when you see the pictures, this 2 spikes were laden with blooms, and I have a 3rd new spike that just came in right here. So this is a very cute little plant. Has this a very distinct flower shape to it, as you can see, which comes out very, very strongly in progeny. If you were to use this for hybridizing, they all have this swept back petal look in the 1st generation hybrids. Very cute plant, very interesting. That is, and now I have another one. This is Phalaenopsis Germain Vincent. So this is a primary hybrid again, primary hybrid of Phalaenopsis tetraspis and Phalaenopsis violacea. It was a Violacea cerulea and an Alba tetraspis is what I have been told. Not sure I like it. It's very cute, has multiple spikes, and a very soft, powdery kind of fragrance. And yes, it is really that purple in person. It's a beautiful little plant that I got at a local plant show. Okay, I have one more miniature Phalaenopsis for you, and this is Phalaenopsis deliciosa, and the color form is Hookeriana. Deliciosa by itself is usually white, or it's white with a little pink, and this has a little bit of a golden touch. Oh, let me get in close. The flowers are really tiny. They're smaller than a penny, and they have a sort of soft little golden hue with this vibrant pink lip and some stripings. Super cute. I grow this in my orchidarium as well. I have another one in Alba form, which is a white form that I grow potted in a small pot with my other plants. Blooms the same, grows the same. And yes, let's see. Okay, I have one more primary hybrid, and then I have some fun miniatures for you. This is a very interesting intergeneric hybrid, and when we say intergeneric, that means that, for example, like this guy is a Phalaenopsis and a Vanda. That is an intergeneric primary hybrid. And this guy is, I always wanted to have one of those, and this is a cold growing orchid. This is Dracuvalia Blue Boy, and as the name suggests, one part of the parent, or in this case, the pod parent was Masdevallia uniflora, where this plant gets the color from. And the pollen parent was Dracula chimera, I think that's how you pronounce it. And out came this beautiful little bluish purple concoction. Really, really pretty. Like I said, it grows cold. I grow this in a pot of very fine bark mix with some coir. And when I'm not displaying it, I like to display my plants nicely. So I have this antique bowl. That's how I display it right now when it's in bloom. Otherwise, it grows in my greenhouse where I have a strong fogger that hits these plants because Draculas and Masdevallias both, at least these, both like it cool at night. That means around 50-55 degrees night temperature. They need a significant temperature drop from day to night, and they need lots of humidity. And when I say lots of humidity, I'm saying 90% up. And they grow nicely. I got this, and it was really, the leaves were kind of crispy, and it was not doing very well, and it put out these super glossy, shiny, beautiful leaves. And yeah, I'm very happy with it. One of my favorites. Now let's go in. I have some cute miniatures for you, some treats. First let me go with another cool growing orchid for you. This is a Japanese terrestrial orchid, Ponerochis graminifolia, or plover orchid, in my little Japanese tile pot. And this is a they usually come, they're brightly colored in pinks and purples and stripes and spots. And when it first started blooming, this is the first year I'm having this particular plant. When it first started blooming for me, I was kind of disappointed, but looking at it more, I think it's just super cute. The birds kind of, the flowers kind of look like birds in flight. If you look up closely, it's very nice. I grow this outside in San Francisco year round. And yeah, let's see. Next year, they're supposed to be multiplying. So next year, I hope I get more blooms than this, more bulbs. Now I have another terrestrial or semi-terrestrial orchid from Southeast Asia, which is a Malaxis calophylla. If you know me, you will know that I appreciate the foliage as much as the blooms. And this is Malaxis calophylla, just started blooming. And the leaves, if you can see, have this bronzy, beautiful tint, almost look like a begonia with the silver edging to it. It's quite beautiful. The flowers are minute. They're a little blah, but I like looking at them up close. They have this green center, and the petals are these tiny burgundy colored. I'm going to show a close-up picture so you can appreciate the flowers nicely. And then something that just opened today, it's not fully open yet, so there will be no photo. This is a South American species, Macroclinium aurora. And this guy is just heavenly. So the flowers come out in these little umbels of, I don't know how to say it, these spidery, white, translucent flowers with purple petals. Very, very pretty, very cute. I have another species that is supposed to bloom similar. And so, yeah, they take forever to open. This spike that you see here is just starting to open today, like this, the flowers, and it took forever for the size of the plant. But anyways, little cute miniature for the orchidarium. And then I have another South American, another pleurothallid, which is Stelis kiefersteiniana. So this kind of looks very interesting. As you can see, there's a little fuzz on there. The inflorescence is zigzagged, and wherever you see a little zigzag, I don't know if you can see it, wherever you see a little zigzaggy, that's where a flower used to be. So the flowers are they're supposed to emulate some sort of bug that pollinates it. And this is a very cute one because the petals are white, which is not a color form that I've seen often. I usually see this in a very yellow or a burgundy form, and not in this white shape. This is one of the hardest plants to photograph because the flowers, just with the slightest air movement, they do the little movement, is very, very hard to photograph. I grow this in straight live moss in my orchidarium because it appreciates very high humidity. And something very special that you probably will not be able to see, but we'll try anyways. Let me scooch in a little closer. This is my cat. This is Chester behind me. I don't know if you can see him. There you go. This is Platystele ortiziana. So, as you can see, these little red things that you can see, those are clusters of flowers. Those are probably 10, 15 individual flowers in a cluster. They look like little pom-poms, and where there's those little green ones is more spikes. This is one of the most floriferous miniatures I have. This is a division. I divided this plant 3 times. So this is one of the 4 pieces that I divided, one of the 4 pieces that I had left. and I gave them away to friends. And this thing blooms year round for me. This is a very prolific blooming. Usually it's only 1 or 2, but now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 inflorescences. Super cute, super cute. I have a little macro lens for my cell phone that I take pictures of. This is almost too hard to see, but I'm gonna try to pull one up. Also grown in live sphagnum moss in a clay pot. And yeah, enjoys the orchidarium. That's about it from me. That's pretty much everything I have, all the things I have in bloom, except some standard Phalaenopsis here behind me, as you can see. This is my favorite, actually. I'm not a big fan of supermarket orchids, but this one I got in the supermarket 2 years ago, and it's been in bloom continuously. This thing is laden with flowers. This is at the end of its bloom cycle. These flowers, or these spikes, are from November. This starts spiking in November. It came with 2 spikes, then it had 5. I cut some off to give the plant a rest, but this plant is growing crazy. Evidently likes its new home, and it likes me. Thank you. I hope you liked my little video, and yeah, maybe I'll see you again soon someday. Good growing. If you have any questions, just drop them with Kojo and he'll forward them, and maybe I can answer some of your questions. Thanks for tuning in. Have a good one.
Danni and Chris, I cannot thank you enough for doing this for all of us. If you are interested, I have links for both of them below. I subscribe to Danni's channel on YouTube. It is amazing. And I am friends with Chris on Facebook. Rainbow Orchids has their own Facebook page. Of course, I follow it. The thing that makes our plant fam so special is everyone is welcome here. So if you're interested in working together, I'm interested in working together. Hit me up in the comments or shoot me a DM on the gram. Let's do something. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and stay tuned because you never know who's gonna drop by Kojo's Tropicals.